As a track cyclist, as a sprinter on the track, you know, people probably just think we just ride the track and maybe lift some weights and that's about it. But we do a fair amount of road mileage too. And I always rode, you know, we'd have recovery rides every day, at least 1 hour. And that kind of kept me, it allowed me to associate cycling with pleasure and not just with pain. So you could actually still enjoy riding your bike, and your mind didn't just think every time you slung your leg over the top tube you were going to be in serious pain. And that's been great because it's kept that kind of enjoyment of the sport even through the tough times when you're really struggling. But now it's, you know, we do, well, back in the old days we'd do sometimes up to sort of 20 hours a week on the road at certain stages of the year. And even the name of the road bikes, the cyclist, that's the name of a climb in Mallorca where we trained, you know, at least once or twice a year we'd go for road camps out there. And it's a really tough climb. It's beautiful, but it's a pretty grim place to be for the last couple of kilometres when you're struggling, especially when you're a big sprinter like myself. But you know, we have had plenty of experience on the road, so we have enjoyed that in the years gone by. As a track sprinter, you know, you need to have, or particularly as a kilometre rider in the early years when I was just riding the kilometre time trial, it's an interesting event because although it's only 1 minute, you do require quite a large aerobic capacity to do that very, very quickly. So you can only sprint for a few seconds before your output drops off, so you have to have that aerobic capacity too. So in the earlier days I was doing a lot more road mileage, and you know, it was times out in Perth where we would get like essentially a 50-mile time trial. It'd be 25 miles out, 25 miles back, and you'd do that in 2 hours or sometimes less than 2 hours. And it was, you know, you realise actually you are doing quite a lot of road mileage, and you know, it does form quite a big part of your overall programme. When I look back at my career, I don't have any regrets really. There's times that were very disappointing and frustrating, and you have crashes, you have losses of form, you have races that you feel you could have done better in. But they all kind of served to inspire you to work harder, you know, in the time that followed it. So 2003 was a tough time. I was going into the championships in Stuttgart as a double world champion, and I came out with 1 bronze medal, and it wasn't what I was expecting and what I was hoping for leading into the Olympic year. But it allowed me to not have the fear of changing your programme. You always have to look to tweak and improve what you're doing, and if you're winning, the temptation is to stay the same. But you know, I thought, well, nothing to lose here. You know, not change everything, but let's, you know, try a different approach, and went to Athens a year later and won. When I look back on my career, there's a number of things that stand out, moments and experiences, but I think the very first time you step on the podium and you hear your name and then the words Olympic champion after it, that's the bit that makes it all worthwhile, because that's what you aspire to be. You know, in track cycling, that is the ultimate, to be Olympic champion. So when you realise that goal, and that for me was in Athens, that was very, very special. And I would have said, hands down, that was the moment that stands out for me until London. And that, the 6th gold medal, the second one of London, when I realised this is the end of my Olympic journey, and I've been, you know, racing since Sydney Olympics, and that was it. That was a very special moment because it was at home, because you had all the home support, and it was the last race of the whole track programme as well. So everyone had finished, and all the teams and all the, you know, the support crew and even your rivals, everybody came round the podium, and you could see them standing on the podium at the end of it, and that was a really special moment, and that's why I got a little bit emotional.
But you still don't see yourself as Britain's greatest Olympian. You still say Steve Redgrave.
What Steve Redgrave's achieved is hard to really appreciate until you've tried to emulate the sort of, you know, success that he's had. I've been to four Olympic Games, and I've medalled at all of them, but silver at the first and then golds after that. He went to 5 and he won gold at every single Olympics, and to sort of think about what it'd be like to go on for another 4 years and to realise all the things that can go wrong, not just in that 4-year period, but even the last few weeks, days, hours before competition, even the split-second decisions in the race itself, things that can happen that can, you know, you can scupper your chances. And he managed to get 5 in a row, which to me that is way better than anything you could achieve in a single Olympics or multiple golds. You know, until someone does 6 consecutive golds, Steve will be the greatest.